Hey y'all, it's Renegade, and it's time to spill more reality as we discuss another ridiculous episode of Survivor 46 as our first true merge vote brings even more chaos than I possibly could have ever imagined for the season. And tonight, as well as every night, I'll be joined by a member of our community where we'll kiki about all the drama. And tonight, I'd like to welcome to the podcast a close friend and Survivor fan that I know has a lot of tea to spill about the craziest that we saw tonight. I've known this guy for almost as long as Survivor's been on the air, so please give a warm welcome to the one and only Pianoman Mike. Mike, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. Um, what are your thoughts if you could like sum up into one word what you've seen of Survivor 46 to this point?
Um, I think this season was a little slow to get. I don't know if I can do one word, but it was a little slow to get started. But like this got super chaotic here at the end, and I
Mm-hmm.
really don't know where it's going to go from here.
I would say maybe multi-dimensional, I think would be a good word that I could use for it. 'Cause I feel like honestly, I feel like we've watched five Survivor seasons in the course of just one. It's like the first half felt like it was its own journey, and now this is clearly turning into just another journey that I'm not even sure how to like predict where we're going to go from here, because these people are crazy.
I mean, it feels like the pre-merge and post-merge are just so different. Like pre-merge, there was still some crazy people, but it was kind of like still somewhat by the book, and now these people are just losing their mind.
It
Really
feels like
monsters.
they all want to like get one up on each other, right? But they don't know how, especially if they're going to do it. And is this just new era Survivor? Is everybody just so good at I wouldn't say maybe good at the game, but just like looking that far ahead that you can't predict what kind of move you need to make here?
No, I think most of them are very bad. um, I just I think that like and like production in the shows nowadays like exist. I just feel like they're encouraged to just strike on people at any time, and I don't feel like a lot of them like really have the foresight to think of what's going to happen in one and two rounds and three rounds. And it's fun to watch, but I'm sure it's like infuriating to play.
Oh my God, I could so imagine. 'Cause it's like as soon as you get that one tick on your resume, or you think you have that one tick on your resume, you are now like numero uno target in the game. And it's like I don't understand. I guess it just feels like such a different mindset of the game like that we grew up playing. Like I know for me,
Yeah.
obviously I'm a day oneer here. Like I believe you also started watching the show when it premiered way back in the day, right?
Not the premiere, but my first episode was the season one finale, and that was what got me hooked. Um, so I went back years later and watched the first season, but I started from fully on season two. So I mean, pretty much the time.
Okay, so you're basically where I'm at, where everything started here is that like we know where the game kind of started. We've seen where it has kind of evolved into, and I don't even know if this next evolution of the game I feel like is really an evolution. It just feels like more people are just kind of just chaotic and just kind of just oh I need to do it now versus like looking ahead and realizing like you said there like what your moves in eliminating certain people will do in this game moving forward, and I'm very kind of excited to get into where we kind of started the episode because I think we started the episode with one of these situations and it kind of ends on the same end there. So I'm excited to get into that there with you, but before we do that, I do have one important question here for you. Because being that you have
Okay.
seen all the seasons, who is your favorite castaway and what is your favorite season?
Um, Honestly, it's a little cliche, but I think over the years it's become Sandra. It wasn't originally Sandra. I used to have this really soft spot for Kelly Wigglesworth because I thought her arc season one was really captivating and just really interesting. But then I mean, I wasn't like bummed with her return. It was kind of like it was whatever. But like I think Sandra's legacy and just how quotable she is, how funny she is, and how good she is, it's just really kind of expanded her legacy. So I would say my favorite season is probably either um, Pearl Islands or Amazon. I just think those were juggernauts back to back. It's yeah, aspects of them haven't aged that well, but I think they still hold up. It's like a good mix between characters, survival, gameplay, all of the above. So that's where I'm at.
Honestly, I feel like if you could really encompass the show in like what it really is to be on the island, have to survive while also playing the strategy portion of the game, and then having fun characters. I do agree with you. Amazon and well, maybe not Amazon's fun characters. Asterisks there.
Sure, sure.
Per Islands,
It hasn't aged
absolutely.
super well, but yeah.
I mean, did was it even great there kind of to begin with though? I'm like looking back at like Roger and then you got like Daniel and like the whole men versus women thing. I'm like, it was kind of cringe to begin with, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. But I think the like all like the blind sides and stuff post merge. I don't know. In seasons like those, they just felt more earned because it really understood where everyone stood, who was supposed to do, and why they were doing what they were doing. And I just think they had more impact. So I liked it.
I agree with you. I would say for me the Christie boot for sure kind of goes down as one of the most shocking votes of all time. Because spoilers didn't say it was happening. Remember they had her picked to go like Final Four, and then like there was nowhere in the edit
Yeah,
like you ever thought Christie was gonna go. I remember that was like one of the big ones that like everybody in the room was like, "What?" Like I feel like you don't get
yeah.
those moments really anymore.
I mean, we'll get into it. Tonight was kind of what, but not for like the right reasons.
Well, maybe that's it. We get yeah, I could say it's definitely what, but for a different kind of payoff than we would get maybe back in the day. But New Era Survivor
Yeah.
isn't bad. It's New Era Survivor. What's your opinion on the New Era Survivor here?
Um, I mean, I don't love it, but it's okay. I still am a fan. I think the show over time, since probably in the 30, this season 30, whatever, they really kind of pushed this like, oh, like all these different terms, like starting with resume and trust clusters and all these voting blocks and all these things where it's like, and then live tribals where everyone's standing in, and all these kind of like, they're like sort of inorganic moments that production pushes for, and they're not inherently bad. It's a little exhausting sometimes to hear like um, just how much they're like, oh, I have to make this move, or this person has to go because of arbitrary reason X, Y, Z. I do think that there are a lot of good characters in the new era. I do love that they are finally thinking diversity on. The twists are a little. Some land better than others. Like I don't love all like the losing your bow and the earn the merge and stuff has really been played out. But I would definitely say it's still better than some of those like dark seasons in like, the 20s where it was just like a pagonging and it was so boring. Um, so I think there's still some fun to be had. I'm nostalgic and more interested in the earlier seasons, but I still like it.
Do you have a particular New Era season that sticks out to you as your favorite one out of the five so far?
Mm, I will admit they run together a little bit. I think I think probably the one that sticks with me, and maybe just because I saw like a picture of her wedding on social media, but like I would say I think it was 42. The one she's not like my favorite winner, but I thought it was a pretty good cast and a pretty good game to watch.
I think 42 unanimously is probably like the most liked season. Although I do think 45 is getting a lot of love, but I think for me it could be a lot down to recency bias. I mean, the beginning was strong. I don't know if 45 is gonna land like anywhere close to like my top half of seasons personally, just because it was like chaotic, like the bone energy, but like I felt like the results were always predictable. So it's like, yeah, the edit could be fun, but like uh, I need more. I need something more from it. I need unpredictability here. Um, I think
I
46 is giving
yeah
us predictability, but what costs? At what cost?
yeah. I mean it's definitely unpredictable. I definitely had no idea going home tonight. Do Was it for all the right reasons? Debatable, but I mean, but I will say that like the ones that are too forecast and boring are definitely worse. So it's that's something at least.
Hmm. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. And I mean, honestly, we could go and get into the episode here as well too, because
Yeah,
I
sure.
hope that this could be like a maybe a good point where maybe this is the part where the season is gonna kind of take off. I said that last week, said that I think the week before that. But I think there's just we're getting lots of good moments here, and I think it's maybe building towards like an end game that perhaps we're not gonna see coming. Because it feels like a lot of these people are kind of starting to come out of the woodworks now to kind of play for themselves. Whether they're playing well for themselves, that is the question. Um, but I guess we could kind of start out here initially. Um, I think this is kind of basically the Q show. It's like how does Q react to every situation here? Because we kind of start out immediately where Ben is emotional over the fact that he just lost Tim, which I'm still shocked that why was there all this emotion over Tim's
I,
exit the last week? Because
yeah,
it's like we never saw Tim. Did you not have shown this? That's
yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on Tim,
That
by
was
the way?
I don't know. I mean, I he didn't really register much of an impact. I thought it was. I did think it was kind of as we saw tonight. I thought it was kind of crazy how like Hugh like just turned on him just like, having wanting to have options um and kind of like not be super loyal to the six. I mean, yes, that I guess that was an error on Tim's part, but it almost did feel like he got a bit of a raw deal. But that's the breaks.
I feel like a lot of this talk about the sits is very misleading a lot of the time, especially when it comes to Q, because it's like here, okay, the six is not important, let's get rid of Tim. But now it's like, okay, the six is important because now we need to pull in Charlie. But we don't get this information here. Q is trying to attempt to get them to pull someone into the six, and I thought he was using this moment to maybe try to strategize, like to pull Ben in. Because I haven't really been sure where exactly Ben has fit at all this entire season. His edit is just very strange to me, and he just kind of always feels like there's like a bunch of clusters, and Ben's just kind of there. Like we never really
Yeah,
get too much development outside of maybe
yeah.
his friendship with Charlie.
I mean, the idea of the six is like, it's okay in theory. I mean, how many? Okay, I mean, tangent here, but for those of you um, who are listening to this but don't know me or don't know as much about Renegade's past, we've both grown up playing Survivor online games for quite a long time.
Uh-huh.
And I was just gonna say and not to toot our own horns, but I think we're pretty good, so we can be extra
I
judgy.
mean,
Um, I mean,
we were.
but
We did just plan a
anyway,
winners in
so
Oregon,
I
but
yes, yes we do. But anyway, I think how many times have we written like sort of kind of fake, kind of tenuous alliances just to like get a few votes, get some people out of the way. Um, so I get the idea of it is okay, and we've also had games where you kind of want to keep the stronger competitors together because otherwise, if you try to get rid of everyone strong right away, then if you're the next strongest one left, then you're kind of screwed. So I get the idea behind the six, but there's just so many problems with it. Like just the fact that they formed it on Journey, and like Tim didn't tell Maria, and then they turn on Tim, and then they invite Charlie late, and now they're turning on Tiffany, and just there's so many issues with it, and it's good TV, but it's like I can't blame anyone for just jumping ship. Like it's just so unstable.
And well, I feel like Q is causing a lot of the stability because I feel like he's shown throughout this process he is gonna kind of go wherever the wind blows. Like it seems like whoever kind of pisses him off last is gonna be the person that he targets. I mean, just looking at this list of the people on here, I mean, he's targeted Kenzie in the past. He's now targeted Tiffany. He's wrote down Tevin's name tonight. Like who in this game has he kind of not gone after? Like Q is just insane here to me. And I feel like he's driving a lot of what will probably be like there's always that mid-season like person that's causing a lot of, that they're always trying to get out, like the Troyzan kind of person. I feel like that always kind of shows up every once in a while,
Yeah.
and Zoe just aligns against him. I feel like we're about to see that with Q here. Um,
Well, what we, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he has targeted so many people, but I think that a lot of it hasn't leaked back to the targets, but that's now it has. Like
mhm.
now the girls like know that he did stuff. They know that he's running around with his, you know, threatening to quit and all these other stable things. I feel like the shoe is dropped. I agree. I can't see him going that much further.
At least he'll have his Q skirt though. I mean, I'm not gonna order one. I don't want one, but at least he'll have that. I'm glad he got that infomercial moment. Um,
Yeah. Um,
um, I
killing
do.
time.
Something else that was kind of big for me, I think, in this episode too, and someone else that I think that's also going to be a big driving force this season is going to be Venus. She's already had a very strong pre-merge up to this point, or like not strong necessarily because she's playing strong. She's out there, and she's even more out there now because she thinks that she's the one responsible for the soda vote. But Tevin
I
is
mean,
like, let's talk about Venus actually first. We get to the Tevin part of it. Talk about Venus.
yeah,
What are your
like
thoughts on
bless her. I love watching her. She's so fun to watch. She's definitely my favorite. Not because she's playing well at all. It's probably one of the worst games I've seen in a long time. That's like made it this far. That is, and like she has a couple of good instincts. Like there are times when they're like, why are we targeting say what was it? Mariah when like Charlie's right there. Like there are moments of like clarity and she's really scrappy, but like she clearly has no idea how she comes across to people. And she's just one of those people. Like she's kind of like a Sierra from like voted out her own. Like make a big move. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? It's like you're being so aggressive that you're putting everyone off.
oh my God, she is
Um,
Sierra without the self-awareness. She totally is.
so I totally love watching her and like her pride about like this big move that she made that she really had nothing to do with. Like I love watching it. I mean, she's probably like mortified watching it, but like you learn things, and I hope she lasts a long time, but not because she's playing. She's playing the worst games for
Now, I have to see, or I have to ask, have you seen her posts that she's posting on Twitter as of lately?
sure. Not a lot. I'm kind of on a social media hiatus for a bit, but I've seen a couple of posts, and she seems really like worked up about things. And don't get me wrong, everyone should be getting all this online hate, no matter how they're portrayed on TV. But like, it's funny trying to like do revisionist history. Like, there's only so much the edit can drag you when everyone feels the way.
Someone brought up a point, and it makes a lot of sense when you're kind of viewing it as like a lot of her Twitter posts kind of remind me of a lot of the like what she's saying on the show. Like it seems like she's kind of in her own head space, and it feels like she hasn't talked to anybody about the show since the show has aired, and it's making me wonder here. Is that because she doesn't actually go to jury? Or if she goes to jury, does she go super late to the point where she doesn't like talk to anybody? Because she still seems like very just like what's the word I'm looking for here? But she's just so she's aloof. Like she's just very much so like, no, this is how things went. It's like, no, girl, like how could you still feel this way if you were voted out at some point and talking to people? I'm
I think being a losing finalist is definitely an option for her, but I also feel like she's just the type of person that's going to be defensive because she doesn't have all the information. She only knows what she knows.
Mhm.
I mean, I'd love to see her go to final tribal count, even when she gets 0 votes. We'll see.
I would live for her final tribal council speech. I would not be upset by that. Like I'm willing this out there. Let's get Venus to
It'd be
final tribal
so,
council.
be so delusional and so good.
Especially now that we got Soda on the jury too. Oh, speaking of, what are your thoughts on Soda? Because I feel like the editors hated Soda. Like they were so mean to her.
Yeah, I don't know what's up. Like the, the thing with her like constantly grabbing the idol was a funny little clip. And I think that would be annoying to anybody, but I felt like they just kept. I don't know. I don't feel like the editors did a good job showing us why everyone wanted to vote her off. It sounded like she was just like aggressive and social, like in a different way than Venus. But I don't really. They did a lot of like telling us that she needs to go, but like I didn't really see what the problem was. So I don't really know. I don't have a good read on it.
I feel like Soda was actually a much better player than the edit gave her credit for. But yeah, it looks like they found any opportunity to like just to bag on her that they could. Which like from her singing to having Hunter like roll his eyes to at that one challenge where she's like pumped and ready to like go and like Venus is like looking at her like we should look at the other people and she's like no I don't want to look. I was just like wow like all right. I'll be kind of
Yeah,
excited
I,
for jury speech though.
yeah. I wish they still did Ponderosa. I feel like we could get to know on those, but obviously we can't. So
Justice for
I guess
Ponderosa.
it's left on the cutting room floor. Yeah,
No, at least we got the intro back. We can't have it all. We got the intro back.
yeah. We'll take a little victory.
Well, I think
Can we like
my
talk
biggest
about
thing.
the?
Go for it.
I was gonna say, can we talk about the hide and seek montage?
Oh
Like,
yes, yes, yes.
I was like, I can't tell. I can't decide if I was like. I think half the time I was like rolling my eyes, and the other half I was kind of like into it. I don't know. Like, it's cool to see like fun camp moments, but then watching like Q and Venus like try to delusionally spin it into like how it affects their Survivor games was like to me.
I
That's I don't know.
is it wrong that some of their like reads were kind of right though to some degree? Like I was kind of like
Some
yeah
of
I feel
them,
like Ben and Hunter going all out and being able to like do that. That I mean I do think that shows some very good ingenuity on their half. Um, and the fact like Hunter especially climbing that damn tree right in front of camp. Like, like
I
how
thought
does that
some,
not
I thought
say
some of,
competitive target right
yeah, I
there?
thought some of it was a good read. Like some of it was a good read. Like Hunter kind of I said, like if you're willing to be that daring, would you be daring for $1 million? I also thought the one about Maria was like, she put like flowers in her hair, something like she's aware of her surroundings. That's pretty clever. But I did laugh whenever they were talking. I disagree about Ben because like they literally just show Ben like laying in his hoodie on the ground, and they're like, he clearly went all. I was like, he's literally laying on the ground in like a fetal position, and you're acting like this is such a master.
Well, they've
It
been
was like
doing that with
really
Ben this
weird.
whole time, though. They've made Ben out to kind of be like, I don't know what to feel about Ben. Like I said, he's been like, they show him to be kind of smart, but then they also are like, oh, he's also funny. But then, like, I don't know. I just, like, the one time he's had, like, sus on him, like, during the gem vote, he was able to kind of spin it around off of him. So I'm having a hard time judging where I feel Ben lies in this. I don't think he's a winner, but I think he could possibly
I
have endgame potential.
I think as of now, he's we're gonna see him as someone that they're like rushing to take out between like fourth and sixth place. I think he's gonna be one of those like last minute we can't let them sit in front of the jury people. That's probably why they're doing this. 'Cause I don't think he's gonna be at the end. I think they're building him for something. I just don't really know what it is yet.
He kind of gives me like Benry from Nicaragua. I don't know why I thought of it because
Yeah,
he's like he's kind of randomly there all the time, and then like towards the end, oh he's a threat. And it's like okay, well where did that come from? Maybe that could be the direction they're going with Ben, but they also have the connection with Kenzie from the last episode that I think could be important. I don't see why they would have spent like 3 4 minutes on it last episode if it's not going to have some sort of lasting impact with Ben and Kenzie here.
probably. I mean, there's definitely been things in Survivor that don't really pan out, or you wonder why they spend so much time on them. Yeah, I could see that being a thing moving forward because I do think Kenzie's in it for the long.
So one other read here that I'm curious because this person kind of showed up. I wouldn't say out of nowhere this episode, but yeah, kind of out of nowhere this episode. Liz, Q during the hide and seek is like at first this is where I thought everything was gonna turn on her because Liz finds Q and Q goes, "Oop, you made a mistake. You found me, Liz. I guess I'm gonna target you." But then,
I
Hunter and
know.
Ben also made mistakes too, so I'm like, oh, who's he gonna target? Um, but
I
going
mean,
back
it
to
was
the
such a funny.
reads.
It was just yeah, it was just a funny montage where like Q, whether some of the reads were good, some of them didn't make any sense, but like either way, she was like targeting like half the cast for like a high intensity. But the thing with Liz is, yeah, I'm so confused about her because wasn't she the one that like from the beginning like had this like big business or allegedly that like she's like not in she's like wealthy enough that like $1 million is not gonna like hit the scales. I think that was her.
Yeah,
But then like
she just
now,
makes lots of
but
money and
now that
possesses.
like, but now that like she's at the post merge, she's like feeling like inadequate that other people are doing more than her, and like I get that, like in a sense, like I mean, if you're trying to win, but like not only was it like completely nonsensical to target her, like one of her closest allies like immediately, but it's also like I thought this was not such a big deal to you. Like, wouldn't you want to like, if you're really not playing to win, like, aren't you gonna want to help the people that you enjoy get far? I don't know. She's. I wonder what's going on in her mind.
I mean, I've wondered what her strategy was the whole entire time. I mean, coming off and I mean, telling these people that you make that much money. I mean, that's automatically just guaranteeing you that you're not going to win. you know,
Right.
um, but I find it hilarious, just kind of like the chain of events that happened here, that kind of lead us to Liz targeting Tevin, as it turns out to be, because initially Venus, thinking that she's the one that made the move, goes to try to have a damage control with Tevin because Tevin voted for Soda at the last tribal council. And then after they have their conversation, Tevin starts busting up laughing to Liz, saying, "Oh my God, she's falling for the plan exactly like I said it would." And then we get Liz now being pissed off that everybody's taking credit for her idea because she said apparently Soda needs to go on day one. And I'm just like, what is this Nami
The,
tribe?
the, the funniest thing about it is that, like, because we've played games like this, that, like, yes, you have to, like, emerge as, like, a front runner, done things eventually. But it's, like, final 10 still. Like, Venus, Kevin, now Liz are, like, walking around trying to, like, fight for credit. Like, that's just the recipe to get yourself voted off. You need to, like, emerge a little bit later on, like, hold your cards closer. It's so comical me to see them like walking around like shooting their own horn, like not even just in confessionals, but like to everyone's face. It's so funny.
There really was so much cockiness this episode, and I think it really stemmed a lot from the Nami people. And I think honestly there was another moment at the immunity challenge. Actually, we can bring it up now because it doesn't really matter. Because Hunter, when Hunter won the immunity challenge, I feel like you're already kind of like earlier he had that moment where he's in the tree. We're like, okay, he's probably gonna win this. But then he has that moment after he wins where he basically hangs off with his legs. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing these like blatant like acts of obvious athleticism in front of people in such like a blatant manner? Like,
Yeah, I it's wild. I don't know if this was on purpose when they made the tribes, but it feels like besides obviously Q, I would say the original purple and green tribes, like they're like kind of trying to not overplay and kind of really think through their decisions. But like Nami, it's like every single one of them is just like overplaying, bragging for the things they pull off, regardless if it was theirs or not. It's like I can't see any of them getting to the end, or if they do, like getting any votes with
mm-mm,
this kind of
mm-mm.
gameplay. But I mean that's what they're doing.
Well, one thing, at least for me going into the challenge that I was hoping for. just because they kind of brought it randomly up out of nowhere, was Tiffany and this whole arc that got Tiffany targeted by the Six Alliance because she decides to tell, I believe it was Q, that she, or no, she tells Charlie, I believe it was. Or no, who was it? She told somebody that she was thinking maybe they could save Venus for later and maybe possibly go after Maria. Oh no, it was Tevin. She told Tevin.
Um,
That's right. She tells Tevin.
she
Tevin
might
goes
have,
off and tells you.
she might have, but the thing that's craziest to me is that she obviously told Q too, but Q is the one who started the whole movement against her. And it's like, this is like your closest ally. And this is an alliance that he created without her. He's known her the whole game, and that's suddenly like the difference. I don't know. It's so bizarre. There's a couple of players, Q, Venus, Liz, and some others where it's just like I I I just can't fathom like the mental gymnastics they do that gets into their decision making. It's so crazy.
It's just like it's very like sixth grader, like fourth, fifth grader, fourth grader vibe to me, where it's like the little kid wants to be like the main character in their own story, and it's like I can't have anything happen in this game or be a part of anybody else's plans, even though it would be good for you to like set off the, step off the wheel, step back, let somebody else take charge and get, some blood on their hands. Um, and then of all people you're gonna target literally the one person that is coming to you with all this information. I don't,
I know.
I, I don't get it.
The thing that's really going to be interesting moving forward is that I feel like the people left are starting to divide into like the 4 or 5 that are probably pretty good players, and then the 4 or 5 that like are completely chaotic and have no idea what they're doing. As we saw today, if the chaotic ones get too chaotic, then suddenly the good players really don't even know what to do because it's just still up in the air. So I'm curious to see how much like a Q or a Venus or a Liz just completely upends like good strategy continually. But it's been crazy stuff.
You make it actually a really good point there. And have you actually had any experiences that you could recall off the top of your head where you remember playing with a bunch of people that were just chaotic to the point where you couldn't strategize? Because I could remember a few. Um, I'm thinking of one game in particular where unfortunately one of the people was sadly going through a rough spot in his life with some possible drug abuse and ended up voting for the wrong person even though he knew who to vote for.
Yeah, I yeah, I
So,
wasn't in that one, but I know which one you're referring to.
right.
I don't. Um, yeah, I'm struggling to remember any that where it was like specifically like this, but there are definitely games where people just like disappear at the wrong times, and suddenly you're like, I needed your vote, or like I thought we had something going. Like not always like fully like disappear from the face of the earth, but like when you do it online, sometimes people will just like kind of fade out for a while. Um, I don't think I've had too many like super chaotic where like I couldn't rein them in, but there was definitely times where I was just like counting on something working and then other people just like finding it.
Let's say that I feel like having the first-hand experience from orgs, even though it's not necessarily like real survivor experience, knowing the strategy part, I think there's just certain things that you just do and you don't do, and I think you kind of hone those in pretty well when you're able to like play it regularly. Um, I kind of wished a couple of these people had an opportunity to maybe play a couple of times because this is just woo.
Yeah, I mean the one thing I was thinking that I will give their defense is that obviously they're very hungry and sleeping a lot, so that's we put we stress ourselves out playing orgs, but at the end of the day, we still have access to like food and stuff. But and like,
True. That
but
may be true.
but but at the same time, like fundamentally, like if you understand how to play, like you're not going to fuck up to the degree that people are fucking up.
I just feel like there's certain things like I mean, at least Jesse waited until the last few moments to get rid of Cody. Like even I still think he got rid of him maybe one round too early. But I mean like like we wait till the end. You don't do it the final 10. But we go into this immunity challenge with now apparently all eyes on Tiffany. But one thing that happened actually at the challenge, I was kind of hoping for maybe a repeat from last season with the rice situation. I was really hoping Jeff was going to pull out another night. I was really he
Yeah,
said he
I mean,
just didn't get the counter.
it was interesting that they couldn't agree. I mean, I sort of get it because, again, I don't want to minimize it because I'm sure they are starving out there. But from what I've heard, like, because the game is so sped up now, um, you can really kind of coast on limited food and water for a while because the game's a lot shorter now. Um, so, like, I, yeah, it was interesting seeing them not be able to get there.
I feel like it was just a
But
matter of
I get
time,
it.
though. After so many times that they've done this, though, it's
Well, that's the thing too, is
unfortunate
that
it's
like
happening.
that's like the consequence of repeating so many of the same twists for like 6 seasons in a row. That's one of my main gripes with the game. They really need to go back to kind of a new set of things that happened, like the earn the merge and the try to get the food and the split tribal council and the three tribes. Like they're all interesting, but when you do them every season, it gets a little tiring.
It takes
I want
out
to keep
the
it
novelty
challenging.
of it.
Yeah, and in the same location, it's like the various new casts can only carry it so long. So I'm sure like by season 46, if they've seen it they know how many days there are left. Like it's still going to be really like a week and a half. They can. I think they'd rather. I get why they'd rather be safe than worry about it.
Yeah, I agree with them too. And honestly, especially with this group and the fact that it didn't seem like there was really any cohesive majority alliance, because the majority alliance kept turning on each other. I get it, and I would have probably done the same thing. Um, So we are get basically the setup going into this tribal council. That Hunter, or sorry, that Tiffany is going to be the target based on the six. And what was kind of interesting though, leading up to this, is Liz decides now is the time. She's not going to take it anymore, and she pushes Tevin's name to the point where it sounds like she got everybody on board to get rid of Tevin, which I had Liz pegged as the first boot. I did not think that she had like any sort of strategic ability to get people on her side whatsoever. Um,
I think it's half and half. Like I think that to a degree she has some strategic ability with someone of her archetype and the one who like bragging about being rich. Like she should have been voted off already. So she clearly has some social and strategic skills. But on the other hand, like a lot of these people are just being opportunistic. I think like Venus is one of them now. Like the Yanu people are fine, something like that, because he's a threat and just to like lower their own threat. I I think she certainly set the ball rolling, but I don't think like she's strong armed everyone into doing it. And of course, I obviously I think it was a crazy decision to push, but she got it there in the end.
well, it was interesting though, but before tribal council, Q apparently finds out that all this is happening and goes to Hunter. Hunter didn't know what was happening, so Hunter ends up going to go to the other members of the alliance. I believe it was like Tevin and no, Tevin wasn't there. It was like Liz and Maria and Charlie, and they're all talking about who is going to get voted out. Did you think at any point here that they might switch the vote back to Tiffany, or did you have any idea what was happening? Because apparently it didn't sound like any of them really had any clue what they might have been doing before they go into tribal council. But it also could have been just the editing because but like later on, it feels like this is a lot more cohesive that they were going to be doing Tevin than you know. At least I
Well,
think.
I recall that scene. To your point, I remember seeing Liz there and be like, she's not in the. They seem to be like fine with telling her that. they wanted to vote for Tiffany at first. But but yeah, I no, I don't think it was for all the right reasons, but I really had no idea where this was going to go. Because you could feel the sort of panic come off the screen. Like a lot of times in Survivor, like they always edit it so that there's at least two options, if not more. But but we find out later, a lot of it's just like them asking questions in confessionals to like give the audience some suspense. But this time, you could feel that they had no idea. So as a result, I had
Well, to throw even more chaos into the fire here, we get Q at Tribal Council deciding that he cannot handle the fact that he has made a mistake that could possibly lead to someone else being blindsided. So he is asking everybody to vote him out.
I'm sorry. Can you did you make any sense of that? I don't even. He didn't even clarify what the mistake was. I don't even understand what he think he did so wrong for someone to be as arrogant and controlling as he was and make that switch. Maybe we're not supposed to understand because they certainly didn't understand any
Well,
of what he was doing.
I think I got I think okay, so from what my understanding possibly maybe of this could have been is he didn't want Tevin to get voted out maybe, and the whole idea was that maybe Tiff was supposed to be going. Actually, I don't know because now that I had it put together in my head, but now now this doesn't make any sense because like then if that was the case and he didn't want Tevin to go, um, then and he told Hunter about it, then why would him telling Hunter and Tevin going anyways be a mistake? Because that's what would have happened anyway.
Yeah,
But if he wanted Tiffany to
and
go,
what
then him telling Hunter wouldn't have been a mistake because that would have been what they needed to do to get the votes back onto Tiffany.
and what isn't clear, and we might not even know until they post show is we don't know who it was landing on before the Q thing blew everything up. Like how much was decided by everyone scrambling after that versus was it always going to be Tevin or was it going to be Tiffany or was it going to be somebody else? We don't we just don't know, and I'm not sure.
And there's so much kind of going on here as well too because basically everything just kind of evolves into another live tribal council mess, which I kind of hate. Like it was these are kind of fun at first, but like when you're trying to sit here and try and like figure out where like things are going for these podcasts, I'm just like, okay, so one
As a
person's
viewer,
over here
I
starts
don't
talking, one person gets up over here and this is talking. Like this is not fun to watch.
as a viewer, I don't care for them because I'm trying to yeah, they're dramatic sometimes, but we're trying to follow thing and there's only so much they can capture. I mean, you and I have had plenty of tribal councils that have been decided in the last 10 to 15 minutes, and they're written conversations or voice conversations, and we also because we're not restricted by a production company, we're very clear about when we show it like this. I genuinely didn't know what was going to happen, but I I don't know. I hope they do a good job explaining it the next episode because I hate when it just kind of lands on somebody.
Especially with the thing with Q though is I feel like one of his like storylines is him saying he's gonna quit every 2 minutes and then having some justified reason for it. So I'm sure this was probably some uh, uh, attempt at a big brain play from him here, but I don't get it, and I think ultimately it ends up hurting him because the one big thing that I did take away from all of this craziness going on here was Charlie exposed that Q outed her idol to him. So now,
Yeah,
after all
and that
this,
was
Tiff knows what's happening.
yeah, and that was a good move by Charlie. Probably out of being opportunistic, but also desperation of what the hell's going on. So now Q For as messy of a player as he probably could have coasted at least a few more rounds without any real opposition between his purple tribe mates and this like falling apart six. I feel like they would have left him alone for a while, and now I feel like he's got a hard road of his own doing.
I mean, he got rid of pretty much the one of the people that trusted him the most. You don't have Kenzie now anymore if Tiffany's not with you. You lost Tevin because I think him, Hunter, and Tevin looked like they were kind of close. So you lost Tevin tonight. Um, because he goes out in a vote of I believe 8-2 with him and Hunter casting their votes for Venus. So I mean, as soon as the Venus they wrote down Venus's name, I was like, thank you, my draft pick is safe for another day.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't even know where Q could possibly think to go after this. Like, I just it might
I
actually.
just think he's going to be on borrowed time now. I think that like from my read on things, I mean, yes, Kenzie and Tiffany were always a little bit closer, but they were going to far with Q. And I think that as he should, since Charlie's one of the better players in this group, he is always suspicious when you're pulled into this alliance of six later. And I'm sure Maria probably told him already existed. So like, and Charlie seemed like every time Charlie and Maria do something together, like it seems like Charlie usually overrules Maria from what we've seen so far.
Mhm.
So I feel like the like Q, and then Charlie's also closest with Ben. Maybe Kenzie's close with Ben. I don't know. I feel like the Q, Hunter, etc. people are going to be on borrowed time. I mean, maybe not because they're also young.
Mhm.
This
I
was
mean,
not a good. This was not a good episode for people like Q and Hunter.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Like it definitely showed. I think we have a few people on this our list here that were getting pretty cocky, and I mean, this episode showed you get cocky, you go home, and I don't think it's a good look for any of those people. So Hunter, definitely looking at you. Agreed. Q, looking at you. Um, I could possibly also be looking at Liz a little bit, but I mean, did we really even think Liz had a chance to win this anyway? No.
I I think I mean I have no idea because I didn't see tonight going how it went, but like I said, I think the six is over. I think the Qs and the hunters of the world are gonna have to win some challenges, and I think that after that it's going to be like a are they going to try to drag a Liz or a Venus to the end, or are they just going to do it? So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Mm. I kind of had like a thought in my head for whatever reason, just because I was just kind of looking over who was kind of left here. And I don't know why, but something in the back of my mind feels like there could be like a situation where maybe like, okay, they use Q for a moment to split apart Charlie and Maria, or I think that would be probably the best move for everybody else is to split apart Charlie and Maria. Um, and then the women possibly use Charlie to get together and use Venus as a vote to take out the rest of the men. Kind of what I'm hoping
It's tough.
happens.
It's tough because, like, if we're going, if they continue down this, like, go for the quote unquote threats, which, again, like, every player has different reasons to do what they do. Like, some of the less strong players, of course, it makes sense to always target people that are better than you. But yeah, I don't know because um, with this particular group, you can try to split up the strong players, but then you're left with people that so far are completely erratic. Venus and Liz and Q. Like it's hard to work with someone that you just don't know what they're going to do next. So I'm really curious to see how they find that balance.
Might be like a situation where you try to maybe take out like one erratic player and then a good player and then one erratic player and then a good player. Like you don't just focus on one or the other. But yeah, it's gonna kind of come down to where these groups kind of mesh because I don't know if we've really gotten like as much as we have like the six. I don't know if we've really seen like how the members of like Siga individually are bonding with like the members of Yanu or etc. Outside that. Like the only interpersonal connection I feel like we've really gotten here is Ben and Kenzie. Like I don't know if we've really seen like anybody else kind of bond with anybody outside their original tribe. So I don't really know where like
Yeah,
what people would go to.
I mean, there's only three Sega left. I definitely agree they were like under edited compared to the other tribes, probably because they didn't lose very much. But yeah, but I mean, we know where Sega stands with itself, but considering how much time Charlie gets to talk about strategy and seems like a decent player, I really don't know who he actually connects with. Maria is even more quiet at this point in the game.
And between the two, I had Maria pegged as my winner pick between the two. Um, I second guessing that now. I'm actually kind of fully on board another train here. But we can actually go into discussing winner picks at this time here. Because I mean, I've had her at the top of my list this whole entire game, Miss Tiffany. Um, I'm gonna give you one more episode, girl. I'm giving you one more episode to give me the personal content that I need. I feel like possibly your arc, your like individual arc, that's something that's separating you to give you a story is happening right now after this tribal council. I would have expected it to happen by now, but we've seen worse. We've seen other people like Sophie be kind of, blank until a finale, so um they definitely
Right.
do our women dirty when they are the winners, but I
That's
also feel like she's
tough.
had a very consistent positive edit. So I'm having a very hard time letting go of that consistency in a world where we have like all of this crazy mess, you know?
Yeah. I so as we've said, I think there's only certain people that have any chance from traditional edits, from those of us that have seen every season. I think the obvious choice for me is Kenzie, just because I think they hyped her up as a big player. You think maybe she'll get voted off free merch, she doesn't, and now they've given her a lot of positive content since. And then tonight, um, they randomly checked in with her to be like, "Oh, I'm purposely laying back. We don't want to run every vote." Like just like things that you know that really good players say, and like for someone that was really didn't drive anything with the vote, it seemed kind of in left field. But so my money's on her. But I think that Tiffany's still a contender, and I think that Charlie's edit has picked up a lot. Like I like him as a person. I don't think that liking Taylor Swift is a good as like a personality trait. Like, and I feel like that's but like as a player, like he seems like dialed in, and they seem to check in about like even if they don't flesh it out, they do seem to kind of plant clues like him second guessing if being with the six was the right thing for him, and then they don't go with the six. So I would say Kenzie's my winner. I would say Tiffany and Charlie are in the hunt. For me, I think Maria is. I just feel like she pops up and doesn't register, but a lot of the others I've near ruled out. Like I guess objectively like Jeremy, like I stopped trusting what he says whenever he said he was a super fan and then show him going some other seasons correct during the
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, that wasn't a good
I
look.
was like, okay, you, you're clearly not exactly what you present yourself to be. So I don't know. That's what that's one. I think it's Kenzie or
Yeah, I mean, I would say if outside my if I was because I'm just diehard on this Tiffany poll here. Kenzie, I would say literally if it's not Tiffany, it has to be Kenzie here for me. Um, I felt a good. I think that's generally where my good feelings for Tiffany come in, is because you could tell that it feels like their edits are very intentional for whatever reason, and obviously Kenzie is getting all the content that I wish Tiffany was getting. So. Um, I can't deny her edit is pretty flawless at this point, but it's also a situation where I never trust how they edit the women. And it could be a situation where like they could be giving Kenzie like all this e- edit now, and only possibly for maybe Tiffany to take it over later if Kenzie gets voted out. So those
Yeah,
are
I
those
mean,
are definitely my top two.
I think that, yeah, I mean, Charlie's a maybe, but I think Kenzie has the right edit, and after last season's female edit, I think it could still work. But we've seen many times, like you said, a bigger presence getting voted off and their ally inheriting the win. And we've also seen women that are like really hitting and like pop off in the last 3 or 4 episodes. And it's not fair, but it just is what it is. It's harder to.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at a Charlie win here either. Even though I do agree. I don't know if Taylor Swift is a personality trait. He's been getting a lot of good at it. Definitely the best out of anybody that hasn't been on Purple. I have a really hard time wondering how they would, if they would really go back to like another like Luvu edit, like a Survivor 41 edit for their winner if their tribe just never went to tribal council. And I don't think they would. I feel like they got so much backlash from how Erica's edit was. And I'm like, you have so many other tribes that went undefeated in the beginning that ended up having a winner. Like for example, like Tony and Cagayan. Like the Brawn never lost a challenge in the first four tribes before they went to the split. The Brawn was literally
Yeah,
probably having as much screen time as the Brains did. So it's like they could edit a tribe with a winner on it well if they want to. So that's
I
my biggest limitation is Sega just had a shit edit. It was so bad.
again, it's not fair, but I think that the hardest winners to spot are women on tribes that don't lose because they just throw them into like invisible. But in this case, the women were good at it. They lost a lot, so I feel comfortable that probably one of the purple girls are winning, and if not them, then I'd say
Yeah, especially with Tevin out of the running. Tevin was someone I think was a big presence throughout the entirety of the whole game. I mean, he had that 10-minute monologue basically in the beginning that I was like, okay, this guy's definitely gonna be in the finale, Um,
Yeah,
so
knowing where he finished tonight, it's surprising how good his edit was, but probably just because he's a well spoken guy.
how
But
does that
I
make you
don't. The
feel to
rest of
know
the
that?
team, no way, like no way. So
I was gonna say, how does it make you feel to know that as a 10th place in Winners at War, I would have had the opening monologue for this season?
I actually think you got the first confessional in Winners at War.
I
Yeah, this time.
did. Look at that.
Get that full circle.
I mean, I can't help it. I was number one for so long, but thank you, Colton.
You know.
Hope Colton's doing well, by the way.
I
um,
mean, I'm still Facebook friends with him. I think I haven't been Facebook in a while but I haven't talked to him in like a decade.
I'll wish him all the best. 'Cause
I told you about like the last time we talked with him, like messaging me on Facebook, like right before One World aired. I felt like I remember feeling at the time like he was trying to get ahead of something, and yes, he was because that was not a good showing.
well, you never got to play with him afterwards, did you? I got to play in the season with him and Caleb when they played for a minute. So I got to chat with him again for like a moment in time then.
Yeah,
Back in a different time. Those were good days though. Those were good times. Never again though.
that's a
No
good
more
time.
orgs. Now we'll just sit here and judge other people like we were on the island ourselves.
I
So
mean, we've done our time. I mean, people listening to this have no idea, but like we know we've proven ourselves and we're good. So now we can judge all the people on the show. And
and just there will be lots of judgment because I feel like I can't imagine the season ending without some messiness here. So going into the end game. I don't think it's going to be an easy ride for anybody just based on the fact that everybody is insane. So,
yeah, like I haven't been super high on this season, but I do think it's going to be messy.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna go down as like a season. I think I said this like maybe episode 1 or episode 2. I'm like, this is not going to go down as the season of like the strategic geniuses. This is going to be the season you show to your friends to be like what not to do in the show, because
I,
literally everybody is telling you what not to do here.
Sometimes you need that variety.
I mean, not all of them can be winners, and I mean, we need that. We kind of do need these kind of, I'd say, seasons, because then you get like a season like the last Australian Survivor season that was just phenomenal, and you understand, you get the difference, and you see the gameplay, and you understand why like Survivor can be so electric.
And
But
they and yeah, last that season was amazing. And they weren't even they made mistakes too, but it's just the way it played out. But Survivor's still going strong, and they've overcome worse seasons. So,
I would say, would you ever have thought way back in the day when we started playing, or wherever that was? I think my first one was like 2003, maybe 2002, whenever Africa was. It was an Africa theme org, uh, with Danny Stoltz of all people. um,
mine was fall of 2004. I mean, I won my first two orgs, but to be fair to me, they weren't very strong cast. But it was around when I think Vanuatu.
Geez, did you ever think that this show would still be on at this point? 46 seasons later.
Um, I don't know. I think I hoped it would be, but you never know with this kind of stuff. But it is kind of surprising that it hasn't really dipped. I mean, it just has the hardcore fan to just stay. So think I think it's gonna be around for.
It feels like there's definitely like a culture based around it now, even though it's smaller than it was obviously when things first started. But like, it's still impressive to me that there's this much hype for a show that's been on for 23 years, and like as we get closer to season 50, I can only hope to be like in the retirement home, um, doing a podcast with you about season Survivor 150 later on in the years. So
Yeah,
that's all I could hope for.
yeah. I mean, I think it's it it's interesting just seeing people now on the show that didn't watch even the first 20 seasons. Everyone like enters at a different point. Like most everyone has seen the show before they go on. There's not as many like model recruits that have never seen the show, but like everyone's entering at a different point, and it kind of impacts how they play. So that part is kind of interesting to see.
I think that COVID had a lot to do with that too. I feel like it brought on like a lot of people that didn't have much to do but binge the show, and I think that
Yeah,
definitely helped bring in a new generation of people. Um, And as much as I hate Jeff talking about the children, like them doing things to kind of promote it to like kids is good because that's going to just keep the show running even longer. Even though I will never want to
and
play 2020 somethings ever.
right, and Survivor's not the kind of show where like if it continues and like there's more bad seasons than good. There's no like legacy that's going to be ruined. Like I'd rather it be on the air than not, and if I'm not vibing with it, then that's fine. It's not like I'm hoping it gets canceled or anything. Like, it's still around.
I mean, honestly, even bad Survivor is better than half the other reality TV shows that I've seen out there. Even the quality and the editing is still better, So, um, I'm
Definitely
I'm
true.
gonna hold out hope for Survivor 46. I'm gonna really hope here that, the beginning was just like just craziness, and then this end game that we get a good mixture of strategy, but including the entertaining craziness too. I think we'll get it.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping we're gonna finish strong.
I could only hope because the new era, I really want the new era to do well. Yeah, but I mean, I think we kind of covered a lot tonight here. I don't know if there's anything I
Yeah.
personally feel like we left out here. Do you have anything you wanted to kind of discuss tonight that maybe we haven't touched on?
No, I think we hit all the big moments, and I think it was fun to, you know, drag them through the mud when necessary, but also like acknowledge the good too. And it's just been fun talking about it.
Awesome. Well, as always, Mike, it's been a pleasure. Definitely let me know if you ever want to come back. I'll definitely make sure to have a spot waiting here for you. Absolutely.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. And to anybody out there listening, I appreciate you. Let us know what you're thinking in the comments below. Are you vibing with the season? Who are you appreciating? Are you going to get a Q skirt? Let me know. Uh,
Yeah.
and as always, like, comment, subscribe for more content. Will be definitely more stuff on the way here. We know we have the Drag Race season 16 finale coming at the end of this week, so there will be a deep dive coming this weekend. Also, we have Big Brother Canada. We're watching Deal or No Deal Island, as well as The Circle season 6 that just started today. I mean, there's a bunch of other shows. Amazing Race, what's going on right now that we'll probably get to cover. Like, I don't even have any other time outside of work right now for watching TV shows. So I appreciate y'all for being here. And as always, this is Renegade, and I'll see y'all next. Bye.